All right, so the time has finally arrived. It's International Dictionary Day, and the Pan-South African Language Board will be announcing the SA Word of the Year. Not the global, the South African Word of the Year. It's all happening right here, of course, on eNCA.
Right now on eNCA. I'm very excited. So every year, a word, term or expression is chosen to reflect the passing year in a language. Let's get straight into it now with Ndombentle Hulu from PanSlap. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and I hope I said your surname correctly.
It's Hulu. You just put some bass into it.
Some bass into it. There we go. Yes. So thank you so much for your time. Talk us through the process of selecting the word of the year. What is it that goes into that making of that decision?
Okay. What we do as PanSub is we encourage the public to submit words that they think have been used the most. We're tracking a broad range of media as well. So we have submissions that we get from social media and as well as into our emails at PanSub. And then what we do then, we then debate the merits of these words, and then we have a shortlist which we then submit to our media research company, which is Focal Point, and then they then do the back checking, and then they do the data search to check in terms of how many mentions and which word actually had been used. So that process, the winner is actually based on that data that they collect after the shortlisting.
Very interesting insight.
Very interesting, but I'm very interested. I can't remember, pre-COVID, what was the word last year?
It was lockdown.
Lockdown. So, yeah, that was my guess for this year.
I thought it might be COVID.
I think before that it was COVID, not.
No. COVID didn't make it.
Oh.
COVID didn't make it. COVID never made it against lockdown. You see, when we are looking at the words, we also have to broaden the criteria and to look at the cultural significance. So we then had to look at what has the lockdown actually changed the way people live. So those were the things that were actually brought into choosing that word.
Yeah.
So it's not just about how many times the word's mentioned necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Experience and the cultural effect. And I wanted to ask about that because that's very important. We have the traditional English language, and we'd assume that a word would fall within the traditional language, but it's got to do with the South African experience, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an English word, does it?
No, it doesn't. You see, with South Africa is a very multilingual society. And as you can see with our shortlisted words, there's a lot of language mixing. There's a lot of how we are communicating with each other is there's a lot of language mixing. I think experts call it translanguaging, whereby a multilingual person uses their language as an integrated communication system. So you have Batau Herder,
Oh, Bekeli Beke.
You have Bekeli Beke. You have Danko, which is from the Afrikaans word dankie.
Dankie, yeah.
Yes, so it's literally just how we speak as South Africans.
Yeah.
We are very multilingual. We have different languages influencing how we speak, so not necessarily, it does not have to be an English word at all.
All right, so I'm very excited to see this. Also, by the way, this is an exclusive on eNCA. It's the first time it's happening this morning. So, are we ready? Are we not ready yet?
One more question.
Okay,
one more question. Before we open up the word of the year for South Africa, what were some of the interesting submissions that came?
Well, like I said, it was that Batau Herder, and then we had Dango as well, obviously. We had some interesting words, and Bekeli Beke, of course. We had the Constitutional Court making an appearance, yes. And then we had Level, Pandemic,
Zondo Commission? No?
Zondo Commission did not make it. I think it was, but it was a winner, I think, some years back. I can't remember which year.
Yes, that actually rings a bell. Yeah,
it was.
Zuma. Jail, conviction.
You see, what we're looking at, the word should have been used in the past 12 months.
Constantly.
Constantly. So it's not just a specific period.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why you don't have elections shortlisted. Because otherwise, then it would
been a hot topic.
Definitely, yes.
Okay, I'm rubbing my hands together because I've had my guesses. You've
Where's
had
the
your
drum
guesses.
The drum roll.
Guys, we are about to reveal the word of the year for 2021 in South Africa.
For the first time, so.
Vaccination.
All right.
That's the word of the year, you guys. Vaccination. Of course, our government has been at lengths to encourage all South Africans to get vaccinated so that we can go back to some kind of normalcy.
I think also it's also not just, you know, of course, South Africa, vaccination has been big, you know, the rollouts and everything, but I think worldwide that's also been a word that's been used a lot. But like you said, it's not just being used, but also in the culture of the world.
Yes.
I think it's also very significant.
I think the health MEC in Limpopo in particular, she's made this particular word popular. If you don't vaccinate, you don't go on dates. If you don't vaccinate, you can't buy alcohol. So vaccination has essentially become the center of everything that we do in South Africa.
Definitely it has, and it has a lot of variations. So you're looking at words like vaccine hesitancy, you have your vaxxed on social media when people are vaccinated, you have your anti-vaxxers, those people who are against vaccinations. So it has a lot of branches that are, you know, a lot of variations to the word. So it's not just the word, but it encompasses everything that has been happening around the world.
When it comes to vaccines.
Yes.
Can you just hold it up again so that
Can you just remind South Africans that I hope...
Vaccination.
Yeah, you guys should share your thoughts with us, your guesses. Did you find that you guessed this exact word, or were you way off? Was it Bekeli Beke or Batlo Herda?
Oh, my gosh.
I know my 10-year-old son said it's definitely Batlo Herda.
Heard.
Well, COVID-19 has definitely herded us. You
Or
know.
maybe hot like a heat whore. Could have been
Yes. Surprisingly, we did not receive that one. Nobody submitted
I think if it started in the beginning of the year, maybe it would have, you know. Yeah.
No, thank you so much for your time. It's been a very exciting morning here, revealing the word of the year in South Africa. That's the spokesperson for Pan South African Language Board, Ntombenhle Hulu Hulu.